Hello, hello, hello. I was gonna start off by explaining the drawing, but as soon as I turned on the camera, I was like, "Gosh, dang, my freaking hands look beat up." Based on how beat up my hands are, guess what my profession outside of art is? Yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. Um, kind of like this is these are my old notebooks, old sketchbooks. Kind of like the way that guy is leaned like that. But you see how here I blocked everything off and I added that green in there? I like to block everything off and then start fresh. That way I can kind of break apart the styles of the drawing. Because I do like the faces, don't get me wrong. But once I block a section off, I can build on top of it. And I can add teeth and skulls and all kinds of stuff. But I was kind of focusing on the way that guy looks. I don't know why. Let's see if I can redo that guy. This whole drawing is based off of a redo as well. So, and then I kind of want to use this kind of like an oval shape to really get like a kind of like that jawline almost. But let's see what happens. Let's block this bad boy in real quick. Damn, that was a pretty good line. I when I'm doing long lines like that, I tend to hold my breath, and I don't know why I'm like, or at least I think I'm holding my breath. I don't know. Bam! Got those lines in. How did I do this guy's face? Should I? Where should his face be? If I do his face too far forward, I won't be able to see his arms. That's what I like. I like the way his arms are bent back like that. Let's do... I don't want to do a tiny face. Decisions. I like that. We'll go with that. And then with pencil, I'm not too worried about details. Can you even see what I'm pointing at? Oh, you can. All right, cool. With this pencil work, I'm not too worried about details, but I do need his body to go this way. So we'll kind of like that. Point his neck over here, down a little bit. Need to bring that shoulder in. Maybe like a I don't know shoulder. Oh, and drop that down. Drop that down. I guess just go out. We can bring that in. Bring that into his boobie. Back into his boobie. And then I drew nipples on this character. There's a movie I went to go watch called Barbarian, and there was this character who was like a, gosh, I don't know, like a mutant or whatever, but it was left in a cage, and it was like like its only purpose was to be a mother or whatever, and that's all it cared about. And so I started drawing that character, and then everyone's like, "Dude, that's disgusting." And I just kept doing it. So that booby came way too far over. I've never been to like an art school per se. I mean, I've done art. Actually, I've never taken like an art class. I've done pottery. I've done a pottery class in high school. Other than that, it's all self-taught. So if this looks like fucking microwaved ass, we'll blame that. this this fucking booby over here. Oh gosh. Damn, drawing in real time kind of sucks. I didn't realize how much I erase. Where do I want these ribs to be? Let's start the ribs right there. And then the way I like to draw these ribs is make the character kind of look emaciated, real skinny. Why? I don't know. WHAY? Because I gotta. What movie is that from? I like the way that looks so far. I gotta draw his body. I need to bring that down a little bit. Maybe some hip bone action. I'm worried that if I draw it too far outward this way, you won't be able to see his legs. And I like the way in this one you can see his legs, but I'm kind of running out of room. But let's try to squeeze that in. Yeah. Where's his leg or his kneecap? Where's his kneecap gonna be? That's what I should focus on. Bring that down. Where's his gross little body? Tiny little gut for no reason. Like that. And you can drop the leg in. There's his knee. See, in the old drawing, he had a nice fat gut, and then I like cartoonishly just dropped his leg straight down, but I guess I could do that here too, but we're gonna lose. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, dang it, we're not gonna be able to see his feet. His little toesies. So from there to there, bring that over. Kind of parallel. That's gonna look weird, but we'll try that. Let's see what happens when I bring in the pen work. Belly buttons, stretch marks, his face. I think let's go big old smile. Let's do that. Bring that over. Yeah. Bring some eyelids. Bring that. Drop his head back in. Eyelids shoot out. Yeah, big old chunky cheeks for no reason. And then there's his nose. Dropping his comic little lips. Bam! And his little cartoonish baby teeth. Alright, let's bring these bad boys all the way across. Drop these down. I mean, none of it's anatomically correct. But maybe we can bring an arm up or something like that. Well, there's that. Can't do the teeth now, that's okay. But I can do... maybe bring some teeth out here. Like that. Oh, those are going to be big teeth. Some smaller teeth out here. Bring that tooth right next to the body. I like it. Over here I might do some checkered action. Or not checkered, but you know, lines. Oh, checker might be cool too. After I do the pen work, after I do the line work, maybe I'll box this guy out too, kind of like what I did here. I don't know yet. Should teeth be coming up? Should this be a whole mouth? I guess kind of like that. These freaking teeth look cartoony. Come on. Like this whole drawing's not cartoony. Your fingers have oils and whatnot on them, so when I erase stuff, instead of going sometimes I forget, but I do prefer to use a brush. Dang, I didn't realize how much I like that face until now. I just looked at it. Yeah, I like that. Drinking a Ghost Energy real quick. I'm gonna take a swig. That tastes pretty good. Ghost Energy Pink Lemonade. It's becoming my new favorite flavor. Draw some gum lines. I'm not going to be able to fit that many teeth in here, but it should be alright. I just did it. I was watching some art videos and they're talking about teeth and creature design and stuff. I mean, I guess if they're doing like if they're doing professional work or whatever, it might make a difference. But they're talking about teeth lining up and for art, you're just gonna look at a page. There's no. All right. The guy I was listening to was kind of focusing on like anatomical correctness, and I was just kind of thinking. I was like, I kind of draw little monsters and stuff. Doesn't really matter. Just make them look cool. I do have an issue with that tooth right there, though. That's a little better. A little better. I think this portion's done. Can I squeeze in some other stuff over here? Maybe. Maybe not. I want to see what this guy's going to look like. So, I said in a previous video, of course, but when I'm inking, I like to not necessarily follow the lines. I like to figure out what the pen's going to like. Or, you know, make subtle corrections as I'm going through. So, let's see what this is going to look like. I'm wearing a lapel mic, so as I'm going through this, I'm like trying not to freaking breathe too hard. I feel like you guys can hear me. I don't really know what's going on there. Like a cheek, maybe? I don't know. Oh, is my head covering this whole drawing? I guess I'll find out in a little bit. His little elbow. Bring that down. See, I'm not as I'm doing the line work, I'm not liking the way those stinking feet look. Yep, not liking that. Gosh dang, I don't think I'm liking that. It sucks because I'll draw stuff and I don't like it, and I'll know I won't like it, and then people will flip through my sketchbooks and they're like, "Hey, I like that." I'm like, ugh, okay, cool. I'm sure other artists or whatever you want to call it go through that same deal. Let's get these gum lines in. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Alright, we'll lay down some teeth. If you're doing teeth like kind of at an angle or whatever, you can always go through and draw like the first lines, or like even on this one here, I could go through and draw this line all the way up super thick, and off to the side I could do it super light, and that you can kind of get that three-dimensional look, but not always. You know what? Let's try it. Let's try this one super thick. We'll drag this little bad boy out here, kind of thin. Kinda. Not too bad. I smudged that little deal right there, but as I was laying that line down, I was like pressing too hard, so that's my fault. But I think I'm gonna do the ultramarine blue, like that, for the kind of like the gums, or not the gums, but the kind of like the monster's cheeks or whatever. I think I'm gonna do that, so we won't even see it. Kind of don't like the way those teeth look. It is the bottom jaw, so I might do a little short and kind of jagged teeth. Yeah, I like that a little better. Alright, that's all inked in. Go back with an eraser. Oh, I bet this sounds lovely on my microphone. I just laid that ink down, so let's skip over that for a couple of seconds. Let's go over here. Should be dry by now. Yep. Well, let's get some color in there. Ooh, should I do that guy? Watercolor? Should I do him watercolor? Let's do his nipples, kind of that hot pink. Maybe his lips too. Leave that. Where's my ultramarine? Lay down some ultramarine blue. It's kind of weird as I'm drawing. This is usually the normal stuff that goes on in my head. It's kind of weird having to like think or just think out loud and tell y'all about it. I think it's weird. That's okay though. Alright, let's drop in some ultramarine blue in this guy's his inside of his mouth. I don't really have much to say about this portion right here, except for I like ultramarine blue. Maybe y'all can have a little ASMR moment of me going. Oh, ran into a conundrum. These are just open teeth and open air. Where does the ultramarine blue end? I guess right there. Yeah, we'll call it good right there. As for that, I'll just I don't want to do all these teeth yellow either, so let's do yeah, let's do a light gray on these teeth. There goes my ghost. Kind of taking too long. Let's. Gosh. Can you guys hear the guy's engine? Oh, and I didn't let the blue dry. So if I get too close to the edge, that's where I start getting these bursts. And then some of the blue will even stick to the tip too. I kind of wanted to do hot pink for those gums. Maybe I'll do like a lighter version of it, kind of like these two, back to back, and then maybe I'll add some purple for the shadows. Yeah, let's try that. Sometimes I don't know if I'm artistic or not, because basically what I do is I just draw whatever's in my head with a pencil, and I refine it with a black pen, and then from there I just color in the lines like I'm just sitting here creating my own coloring books, essentially. Is that artistic? I mean, most of you will say yeah, but I'm just wondering, am I just creating my own coloring books and coloring them in? That's what it feels like sometimes. But I do this for fun. This is one of my hobbies. One of my hobbies. Ooh, should I just create coloring books for everyone? Everyone can color them in? Maybe. Alright. So, I need to recreate this. Let's get these out of the way. Put that in there. Where are my... Oh, right there. A little too much green. Want it lighter. Kind of a skin tone, but not that much. Lighter. let's do this character super light. A lot of water on top. A lot of water. We'll see how this goes. Not too bad. I like that. Nice and light. And with watercolors, you want to start kind of light. Kind of on the lighter side. But I've never been taught by a teacher. This is all me just mixing on my own and whatnot whenever I went to art school. So I could be entirely wrong. That was a little bit too much. Too much water right there. I don't know if you've seen that. The water starts running. When that happens, don't worry about it. Just dry off your brush, pick it up, bring that paint to a sponge or whatever. So my lighter tones kind of dried just ever so slightly. So now this is kind of the lightest I want to go. This is the darkest I want to go. Grab some of that dark, put it in spots where you think there might be a shadow, but I don't really have a source of light, so I'm just kind of, let's just wing it. Let's see what happens. Put a little dark there, put a little dark there, there. That should be dark-ish. Put some there. Clean your brush. I forgot to paint the face. Grab your lightest color. Bring that bad boy up top. Bam! I need these to dry. Alright, we'll let that dry a little bit. We'll see what happens.